Do you know the difference between an outbound and inbound prospecting call? Check out this episode now to find out. The real estate industry is full of people doing things a certain way because that's how they always have been done. These are not those techniques. If you want to get punched in the throat with the most aggressive and innovative ways to generate business and run your real estate practice, check out Agent Hacks. What's up, everyone? I'm Tom Toole. This is the world famous Doug Edrington of the Edrington team down in Chattanooga, Tennessee, broker owner of J. Douglas and Associates. I think I got that right.
Properties.
Close.
Properties.
Hey, you know
close.
what? We're friends here. We still don't know the names of the other companies. Whatever. Point is, Doug's here. He's got one of the best, what I've seen, inbound and outbound prospecting sort of teams, like an ISA team, and you really work on the lead gen calls. So what I think a lot of agents don't know is what's an outbound call and what's an inbound call and which one do you need to work on a little bit. So why don't you share that with everybody?
Absolutely. So here's my thoughts. There is a lot that goes around prospecting, right? There's not a whole lot that goes about answering a phone. And a lot of people are always thinking I love it when the agents tell me, I got my prospecting today. I got my numbers. I slashed my 16 numbers down, so I know I made my calls for the day. But then you dig a little bit deeper and it's like, wait a minute, you mean you answered those inbound calls that came in. And while that's great and it's really important and the skill set's got to be good and you got to have the process down and you got to know what you're saying, that's only going to make you like the rest of the realtors.
Yes.
Right? So it's all about the outbound side of things.
So outbound calls, that's really the only way I generate any business. I make outbound expired calls pretty much 2 hours a day. I'm calling the people that need some follow-up, but it's when you're reaching out to them and being proactive.
Absolutely.
The inbound calls, that's like the come list me's or the come sell me a house. Those are great. That doesn't really move the needle too much. So if you've got advice for someone who's trying to start making outbound calls, like where would they start? What's the mindset you need to get around it? What are some hacks or tips that you have?
Absolutely. So I think there's three things that come to actually mastering outbound dialing, outbound calling, however you want to look at it. And what it is it's like, first one is preparation, you know? And when I say preparation, I know I've heard Tom talk a lot about like stand-up desk, good shoes, making sure you've got energy, talk with your hands, like all that is totally true. I like to take it a little bit deeper though when I'm working with my team, and it's making sure that we're practicing what we're supposed to say. So I had an agent come to me the other day. I'm really proud of her. She just started her company, and she started part-time on one of the teams, and within her first closing, she quit her other job. And she's like full-time, ready to go, pumped up. And she came to me and says, what kind of advice would you give me right out the gate? And initially I went towards like, all right, I got to make sure that she knows a prospect at least 2 hours a day, get that set up. And I started thinking about it. You know what? I think the best advice for her is to role play for an hour every single day. Because the preparation side of things on the outbound prospecting is really about having the confidence to know what to say on the phone. And what I've found is the people that don't have confidence say what they want to say on the phone, it's really because they haven't practiced at all. They're not reading a script. They haven't watched a video like this to say, like, what do I need to say? What do I need to do? So just a lot of preparation. We're big fans of LP Mama. If you don't know what LP Mama is, I'm sure you've got a show on LP Mama.
Yeah, or you can just Google it.
Or you can just Google it, right? Right? But it's an acronym that just gives you some guidance and direction on presentation. But then, just what's your normal go-to thing? Just really having preparation around practice is going to be the biggest key. Make sense?
Absolutely. So,
and then the next thing is really having all the right tools. Tom talks about this all the time, whether it's the dialer or using your proper CRM. I'm a big fan of having the earbuds of some sort because you need your hands, you need to be able to operate. But then lastly, really thinking about what's your execution going to be. And so think about timing of the day too.
Yeah.
Like when you're going to do it. So Tom's always talked about illusion of choice. You talked about having multiple opportunities of when you prospect, and I think that's really cool. Just giving people 10 options and telling them they only need to do it 4 or 5 times.
4 times,
a week,
yeah, 4 times.
Which is still 4 days of prospecting.
Yes,
that's awesome. What I also like to think about though is when you're going to prospect, when you're going to get committed to doing it, what you want to focus on is really having a goal and being very specific of the number of appointments you're going to set, and forget about the hours or the dials or anything like that. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have appointments, if you're done prospecting,
appointments are what count. You have a bad day, maybe you don't get your 2 hours in, but you set 2 appointments. Hey, you know what? the appointments are going to be the thing that moves the needle the most. So I agree with you totally there.
Absolutely. And don't allow yourself to make excuses for yourself either. We're here in New Orleans right now. We're at a big event, and I heard somebody say something on stage, and it stuck with me. And it's like you can't make excuses for yourself when you think you're doing well. So, like for example, I had a really good day yesterday, so I'm not going to prospect as much today.
Bad move.
Bad move, right? That's really going to end up hurting you at the end of the day. So staying focused there, but really knowing what you're saying, sticking to the scripts, role playing, practicing, it's going to change your world. But also, don't do it alone, right?
Well, when you prospect with other people, you're going to get to hear them on the phone. You might be able to pick up like a great objection handler or maybe a way to phrase something differently. When you work together, you're going to get better together. I mean, that's the way it is. This is all about repetition. I mean, you talked about practice, prep, having a plan, and really just picking up the phone instead of waiting for the phone to ring. I mean, that's the fundamental thing here, and that's where outbound calls are really going to move the needle.
Absolutely. So, got any other questions for me?
I think we hit it all here. So make your outbound calls, I think, is the message, and have a plan going into it.
Absolutely.
Thanks, brother.
Good to see you,
Yep.
as always.